What's up, spectators? Welcome back to an episode of Layton. We've accepted a new case after we found Madame Dublay's cat, dog, iguana, whatever it was. And now we are at the White House. Yes. And now we gotta speak to this weird-looking butler who's got these crazy... He's got this... Look at his cheekbone game. Would you look at that? It looks like the Reaper's face. The Reaper's face. It's most unforgivable of me not to have noticed your arrival and greeted you in the proper fashion. I apologize. Welcome to the White residence. I am the White butler, Wooster. Wooster? Did he say? Blech. Did he say butler or scary old man? I didn't catch it. Man, Sherl is so rude. Hello, Mr. Wooster. I'm Katrielle Layton, and this is... Emiliana Perfetti, Scotland Yard. Hello. Miss White asked us to come because she has a mystery she wants help solving. Very good, ma'am. I'm sure Miss White would like to give you the details personally. She's the head of the household, I believe? Indeed. Mr. and Lady White regrettably passed away in an unfortunate accident. Miss White was their only child. An accidental stabbing incident, I'm sure. The young Miss White is disinclined to venture outside the residence. She is of a solitary disposition. What does she do to entertain herself all alone in this large house? Since infancy, Miss White has been most adept at crafts and handiwork. She maintains a full schedule of such activities. And could you tell us where we might find Miss White now, please? Wooster! Of course. Kindly proceed directly up the staircase. Miss White is expecting you. Hello? You've come? At last, a normal room with a normal person in it. That would appear to be Miss White. Let's find out what this is all about. After I check out and pilfer her room, of course, obviously. Yes, that's it. Don't even talk to her, just take all of her things.
Miss Layton, look, a puzzle hiding here.
Well, it's a stumper, not a spook. That in the spirit of puzzle solving, I'll unstump it without delay. There's an ant at one edge of a thin board and it wants to get past the crickets. On top of the board to reach the sure cube at the other end. Connect the points with a straight line to find the shortest possible route. The ant can move anywhere, but the crickets won't move from their current locations. Slide the ant to move it to a point and decide the route it will travel. What if I just do that? Oh. Wait, how does this work? Oh. I feel like this is a trick, but okay, let's figure this out.
This is an interesting one. Puzzles are made for solving.
Let me guess. The board flips over, right? That was literally the first thing I thought. If that's the solution, if it's because the ant can just walk upside down and go in a straight line, then I nailed it. Nailed it! Okay, the only reason I got confused in the beginning is because they didn't let me flip the board over. Oh, I'm so smart! It's disappeared in a puff of smoke. I am really stumbling on my words this week. I don't know what it is. Puzzles are rather like ghosts in a way, aren't they? It's almost as if you have to solve them to let them rest in peace. Oh, what? What? All right, young lady. Miss White, I'm Katrielle Layton from the Layton Detective Agency. Hello, Katrielle. Thank you for coming. So you, I presume, are from Scotland Yard? Yes, I'm Emiliana Perfetti. If we could get straight down to business, please. Do you have some problem here at your home, Miss White? Oh, please, call me Lisa. Yes, I've consulted so many people already, but no one seems to be able to solve my problem. Then the other day, Madame Dublé mentioned a lovely young detective woman she knew. So she recommended me. How kind of her. And I also heard there was an extremely competent analyst at Scotland Yard, so I thought perhaps one of you might be able to help, so I decided to invite you both here to explain. Well, we'll certainly do our best, I'm sure. Could you tell us what the problem is then, Lisa? Oh, yes, of course. But if you don't mind, I'd rather like you to solve this puzzle first. I don't want to waste your time, you see. If you can't manage this, I'm sure the ghost will prove too much for you. Go! Ghosts! Some cheeky ghosts want to play with you. It's a game where you have to listen to what they all say and figure out who is lying. It seems there will be a maximum of 2 of them who are not telling the truth. Touch the ghost's face to hear what they have to say. There are no liars among us. Liar! I am the only one who's lying. Then, well, if he was telling the truth, that wouldn't make sense. Liar!
I've seen how to solve this now.
That took 2 seconds! Oh, I'm so smart! Well, Lisa, do we pass muster? I solved your little puzzle. Wonderful! Yes, I feel sure I'm talking to the right people now. You see, it's about the worrying, well, blood-curdling, really, events that have been taking place here. Blood-curdling? I don't know if you'll believe me when I tell you this, but we have ghosts. I don't believe you. You don't know what you're talking about. And not just a few either. The whole house is crawling with them. Amazing. So this really is a genuine haunted house. What are you so excited about, Katrielle? I'm afraid I have no idea why they've chosen to visit. Perhaps they're departed souls with a grudge against my family, or perhaps the house is built on some significant site, or some other reason entirely, I just don't know. But whatever the reason, the ghosts are here and their malice is directed at me. Like the whole world revolves around you, lady. Do you mean the ghosts are scaring you? They're intimidating you? And this happens on a daily basis? That's right. Various supernatural phenomena have been taking place. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. I've consulted so many people already. I had construction workers and surveyors here trying to determine if what's happening is really the work of ghosts. I asked the police to investigate in case it's criminal activity that's behind it. When none of those avenues bore fruit, I even had a famous spiritual medium and a shaman here trying to help. Well, you should have got a spiritual medium and a lawyer here, if you know what I mean. But no one's been able to stop these mysterious happenings at all. So you've really been at your wit's end, but then you heard about us. I really don't think it's a profiler that you need, Miss White. I'm not at all sure we can be of assistance against ghosts. No, they aren't ghosts, they're ghosts. Of course we can. Any mystery solved. That's the Layton Detective Agency motto. How could you possibly claim that? So, does that mean you'll take the case, Miss Layton, and you, Miss Perfetti? Pathetic-y. Just a moment, I really don't. Of course we will. Whatever's going on here, be it ghosts or guinea pigs, we'll get to the truth. I haven't agreed to anything yet. Thank you so much. That's such a relief. Wait, what? Profiling ghosts? This really isn't in my job description, Katrielle. But Lisa is clearly extremely worried. We must do our best for her, don't you think?
Oh, I say, you're so generous of heart, miss. I do agree, it's our duty to help people who are in trouble.
No self-respecting English gentlewoman could turn their back on a person in need. You'd have to be a real sicko to turn someone down, right? Well, I have Italian blood. Humph. What does that have to do with anything? Ha! We were with the Axis powers in World War II. So there you go. So, shall we start by investigating the house? Oh, so you are helping, okay. I think we should start by questioning all the relevant parties. At all the parties. We need more information about what exactly is happening here. I certainly don't disagree. I will accompany you. Why would you say don't disagree when you could just say I agree? Goodness gracious. But in the Savoy Theater case, you were determined to operate independently. There may be vital evidence or hints that you overlook without me there to point them out. Sure, it's got nothing to do with you not wanting to be alone in here, has it? Scaredy cat. Your dog is a very disconcerting bark, Katrielle. Come along then, let's get started. I think it's clear who the best source of information about the goings-on in this house will be. All right, back to Wooster. Gosh, ghosts! It's rather scary, isn't it? Gosh, ghosts! It's scary you believe in that rubbish, Ernest.
You mean you don't?
Of course not. It's all just be some big misunderstanding. May I?
Wah. Wah, Luigi.
Aroo! It would appear I startled you, sir. My apologies. And you should apologize to Ernest, too. The poor pup nearly jumped out of his skin.
What an exceptional canine you keep, ma'am. One discerns an almost intelligent tone to her bark.
Thank you, Wooster! In fact, we were hoping to speak to you about what's been happening here in the house.
Indeed, ma'am. It is to be understood that you have accepted Miss White's request, then. Very good. I shall endeavor to answer any questions you care to ask.
Lisa tells us that you've been experiencing a lot of ghostly visitations recently, is that right?
That is correct, ma'am. Phenomena of the supernatural to be observed here with some regularity since the late Mr. Wright passed away, that is.
It is my understanding that the rather unfortunate moniker of the 6 White House Horrors has been adopted by local residents. That is unfortunate. The 6 White House hauntings has a more mysterious ring to it, don't you think? Great idea, Cat. Mock the terrifying butler. Tell me, Wooster, have you witnessed any of these strange happenings yourself?
Indeed, sir, I have seen the ghosts of which Miss White speaks.
A most spine-chilling experience. It was the first of 6 occurrences, an incident that has come to be referred to as the ghosts in the garden. Tell us more! Very good. One evening, I was performing my usual duties, patrolling the grounds that surround the property. As I was walking through the garden, I heard a peculiar noise, somewhat like a muffled voice. Compelled to investigate, I approached the source of the sound. To my surprise, I observed a great number of ghostly forms in one corner of the garden, jostling and writhing together. I say, a ghost orgy? Discombobulated, I nevertheless had the presence of mind retire before the apparitions became aware of my presence. Regrettably, however, I stumbled upon a small shrub and was bound to exclaim. Unsurprisingly, the ghosts heard my outcry. They turned to face me, and with great malice in their eyes, made an utterance thusly. Whoop! Aroo! I'm glad Nixon was reincarnated into a dog. That is the tale of the ghosts in the garden. They were obviously saying your name. You certainly tell it very vividly. Wooster.
And you say there are 6 such tales.
Indeed. That which I have just relayed to you, and 5 others of equally disturbing nature, I'm told. I trust you'll uncover them all. We most certainly will, don't you worry. That butler's too creepy for words. Could you hear what he was saying, Emiliana? You were standing a long way back. Of course I could. Now tell me, how exactly are you planning on getting details of the other 5 tales? By asking people. Let's see if there are any locals nearby who can give us some information. Sounds like this wonderful haunted house is something of a local attraction. We can leave? I agree it would be a good idea to find some witnesses who don't actually live here if we can.
All right then, let's go back out onto the street and see who's around.
Granny Fiddlesticks, obviously. She's always outside. I don't know what her deal is. Like, go do something. Are you homeless? This house still gives me the creeps. It's funny, I would never have said you were the type to believe in ghosts, Emiliana. A good profiler must always interpret data with an open mind. Allowing your personal beliefs that ghosts can't possibly exist to cloud your judgment is an elementary and fatal mistake.
I thought you were just scared.
What the fuck did you say? Say it to my face! Kick his ass, Emiliana, kick his ass! I mean, sorry, nothing. So, shall we find some people to question? I swear to God. Oh, who is this? Who is this man with the baby tie and the baby book? Oh, DC Hooker! Miss, let me see, yes. Miss Layton and Emiliana, good evening. What are you doing here, DC Hooker? According to my notes, the owner of this house, yes, here it is. A Miss White has asked Scotland Yard for help. She's been the target of some rather grisly supernatural goings-on and wonders if, yes. She wonders if it could be the work of pranksters we're, investigating. Lisa did tell us that she'd enlisted the help of the police already, didn't she? So, Detective Constable, how's the investigation going? The details are all here somewhere. Inspector Hastings was on the case, but he was called away unexpectedly. Wonder what for? He asked me to, let me see. Yes, to take over the investigation, so taking over the investigation. Have you learned anything useful at all? Or, as the British say, learnt? My notes do say that, yes, here. No, we haven't discovered anything that could explain the happenings. However, I did spot a rather suspicious-looking shadow at the window before. And it's your job to look out for suspicious-looking things, you know. Yes, miss. I'm sure I noted down my observations here somewhere. Here we are. I was investigating the grounds of the house by myself late one night. Something made me look up for some reason, and I saw a shady-looking shadow at one of the mansion's windows. All shadows are shady, Constable. That's a good point. But surely it was just somebody standing at the window, wasn't it? Oh yes, it was much bigger than a person, though. And then it just disappeared. Poof, like that. Well, that certainly sounds like a supernatural phenomenon. After asking some local residents, I discovered it's been seen here before. People around here call it the Wraith at the Window. I'm afraid that's, let me just check. Yes, that's all I know. The Wraith at the Window. Presumably that counts as another of the 6 mysterious happenings. I think so too, Ernest. Well then, that's one more off the list. Okay. Let's ask around here if anybody knows anything about these 6 White House horrors, shall we? It seems they're quite famous in the immediate neighborhood at least. Perhaps, but I doubt we'll find many people on the streets at this time of night. Why are you still here? Go home! She's clearly lost. Dearie me, there you are. I've been ever so worried about you, you know. I presume you know about all the strange occurrences at the White residence. Oh yes, I do. I make it my business to. Of course, I didn't want to say anything before because I didn't want to scare you. But people say that house is haunted, that it's been cursed these past years. That makes it sound like it's a relatively recent thing. Well, all the rumors started after old Mr. White passed away, you see. I heard it from a friend first of all, and she heard it from one of her friends. A friend of a friend? Hardly the most convincing of sources, but continue. Well, she was invited by Miss White, apparently. Very late at night it was. She was shown into the living room and was just waiting for Miss White when a puppet that was on display in there started moving all on its own. No one was touching it or holding it or anything. It just moved. And then, just when she thought it was over, the accursed thing's eyes shot open and it started to cackle. Cackle! Would you believe? Oh no, I don't even like thinking about it. I'm sure you don't? Well, my friend's friend was obviously quite beside herself. She didn't bother making her excuses, she just fled right out the house, she did. Oh, it's a chilling tale, isn't it? It's one of these so-called 6 White House horrors, you know. The possessed puppet people call it. The puppet people, you say? Well, I don't like to gossip, but if it helps, do take care if you're visiting the place again, won't you? I shudder to think what you might find in there. You love gossiping, shut up. You're one of those ladies like, oh, I shouldn't, but I'm so bad. Ooh. That's another tale under our belts. They seem to be something of an urban legend around here. Let's keep going and see if we can find out what the others are. There aren't very many people about at this hour, are there? No, it's rather different from when we came to this area before during the day. There were lots of people around then, weren't there? That's when we were visiting Madame Dublay's residence, isn't it? That's not far from here, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, miss. Wonder how Rex is getting along.
Who's Rex? Tyrannosaurus? Don't you know anything?
I'm sorry, Emiliana. Rex is Madame Dublay's pet iguana.
What a strange pet to have. Actually, Lisa said it was Madame Dublay who recommended me to her. I think that calls for a visit. We must go and thank her at once. This is hardly the time for making social calls, Katrielle. All right then, let's make it a business call. We'll ask someone questions while we're there. She may well know something about the 6 White House horrors, mightn't she? Mightn't? Well, I've never heard that before. Might not she? Interesting contraction. I suppose that makes some sense. Good, it's a plan then. Let's pay her a visit at once. This is Dublay's house? What an impressive villa. Shall we go in then? Not yet. Let's ask some questions of people on the street first. Good idea. Somebody might be able to tell us something useful. That jogger's... Oh, everyone's tiny. Why is everyone so tiny? Hello, miss. Good evening. Is Dublay at home? Of course! Madam and Rex are both here. They'll be delighted to see you, I'm sure. Just before that, we're trying to find out about the 6 White House horrors. Do you perhaps know anything about them? Oh, yes, only too well. There's a story people call the Morbid Mirror from the White's place, you know. That's right, miss. They say that in a cellar beneath the property there's an old mirror, and when you look in it, you see an ugly, twisted face. That's called the mirror? You just ugly? It's not the mirror's fault, you ugly! Just to be clear, we're not talking about someone who has an ugly, twisted face looking in the mirror, are we? Yeah, Emiliana! That's what I'm talking about! You and me, we're on the same wavelength. We're both geniuses! Oh no, miss, it's not your own reflection, you see. It's someone else's. Are you talking about a window? Jesus. It's just a story. I don't know if there's any truth in it. I'm sure Madam wouldn't like me to keep you. Sorry, of course. We'd like to ask Madam Dublé some questions too. Thank you. Well, it's been pretty close to 30 minutes, so I'm going to end this video here. So stay tuned next week for the next episode, and thanks for watching, and hope you have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye!